Welcome back to Shad's Voice, where I get a randomly generated topic to talk about from my phone, and we'll see where it goes. Today's topic: do movies have the same power as books to change the world? And this is definitely something, well, it depends on what you believe on changing the world, but there's always a debate of books versus movies when it comes to certain things, of course. There's just kind of there's like a triangle, okay? The everybody well, books are made into movies usually, and it can go good or bad most of the time. People would consider it bad because the movies can't fit every single thing from the book in a movie. Like on average, a movie is like 2 hours long. A book can be so many chapters. A freaking novel can be over 500 pages, and you just cannot fit as much in from a single book into a single thing, especially if you're not sure if it's gonna end up being a series or not. That it goes the same with TV shows, but that we'll stick the TV shows with like the movie part of the triangle, but then you also have the possibility of there's going to be the video games that either come from the books or the movie or all both of them. So you have that triangle, and again, it can go good or bad depending on what it is. Everybody, well, most people like watching movies. I don't watch a lot of TV myself, but I've seen movies. Obviously, we all have. I've watched a few TV shows. Game of Thrones being one of them. And I know House of the Dragon is out now too, but I haven't started reading it, reaching, yeah. And but I am also reading the novels, and I am on A Dance with Dragons, which is currently the last one in the Song of Fire and Ice series until The Winds of Winter comes out, which, if it ever does, yeah, it's a meme, we know. But yeah, there are differences, and obviously, give or take, a lot of people hated the final season because, well, the book's not finished, the series isn't finished, but they went ahead and made their version of how the books are going to end, which more or less upset a lot of people because they would have thought it's rushed, whatever. Um, but that depends. I mean, what your belief is coming from the source material, you have to, like I said, you have to consider you can't stick every single thing, you can't stick every single conversation, or you're going to have a movie that's over 5 hours long, over, like, just goes on forever. Nobody wants that. And that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to make a movie, a TV show, finding the right people, and writing a book in general, too, is not easy. I mean, I'm a writer, and yeah, there's stories I definitely did not finish writing, and some of them I actually have, but it's easier said than done, depending on, well, if you feel it or not. And yeah, it's very hard either way, and I wouldn't want to be in that predicament either way. Do I think movies have the same power as books to change the world? Uh, I don't know. It's like, I'm off the top of my head, I can't think of any movies that haven't had like any kind of book source material, and that goes for a lot of things. What is truly original that did not come from somewhere else? Because it's very hard to think of something original that something was always inspired by something else, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there is. It's kind of how we get our own original thing. That's how I would put it. Just thinking of something else or what you've been through and stuff like that. But I also do believe, whether it's a book or a movie, depending on if you're a reader or a watcher, whatever, people enjoy it because sometimes they relate to it or like it. And in the end, I think it comes from, how do you feel about it more than anything? Because media is powerful. Music, books, video games, TV shows, it's powerful. It influences people, whether people know it or not. Um, and that has its good and bad. I, yeah, you can go on and argue about, well, things on TV and stuff are violent. Real life is violent. I don't know what to tell most people. It's like, do you know what's going on in our world? I mean, this is almost no different than what we go through. Even if it's just a fantasy genre, it'd be like, yeah, they still have a government. There might be dragons destroying the world, but there's still a government. There's still corrupt people. There's still evil people. There's still sort of good people. I mean, that's your belief on anything. I feel like, yeah, they're kind of almost equal in terms of what they can and can't uh, be and do, whether you're reading it or seeing it. And that's the thing. If you have a very avid imagination, kind of like me, people can, even if you're reading just words, you see a lot of things in your head, whether it's in movie or not. And I think that's what it comes to almost people absolutely hating when it comes to a movie or to TV show after reading a book because, oh, this person doesn't look like what I imagined them, or this is completely wrong. You're going off of what you saw versus what they're showing you, which, like I said, could be good or bad. Um, but it's your expectations that you had versus what they're bringing forward, if that makes sense. And expectations most likely always leads to failure because they're not doing what you wanted. That kind of thing. More or less. And yeah, it can suck sometimes, but you kind of almost need to have an open mind rather than, well, instead of them ruining it, well, see their take on it rather than thinking, oh, they didn't do this when they should have done it, even though there are things that completely can be bad. But I feel like them trying to show the story or bring the story forward is a lot more important sometimes. That, well, some people will say it's a cash grab. And sometimes it is because obviously there's a reason why a series is popular when there's people reading the books and stuff like that. Yeah, they're gonna want money. Yeah, the important thing is it takes money to make money, and they always want to bring something in that's gonna make money. That's part of life, and yeah, and I don't know. Do I think they have the same power? Yes, absolutely. Changing the world, I mean, that's questionable whether how you believe they're going to change the world or not. Because obviously, media hasn't influenced us to stop. And, well, who knows if it's going to. But it hasn't made us stop, like world hunger or wars or people getting raped or anything off the streets. People dying of cancer, doctors, anything. It maybe one day, but I'm doubting it. Like I said, there's a sense of reality to series and books and stuff that we relate to because it's happening, more or less. And unfortunately, it's not going to take one TV show or one book or anything to end all that. It's going to happen no matter what. And that absolutely sucks. And stuff like that. But yeah, I think I'm done with this topic. Already. That was kind of an interesting one, maybe a deep thought one. That's kind of when I saw that one, I was like, oh wow, that's a big one. Um, but yeah, TV, video games, books, there's a lot of influence there, whether you might take it or not. And people like all three of those. I think it's important to people to have like some kind of story. And all three of those give a story, more or less, that we live. Even if we don't live it, we live it. Like we're in the eyes of or mind of whoever is being written about, seen about, stuff like that. And that's why I think all three of those have a definitely big influence of how people are or what they might turn into or start thinking about or how little things influence us from day to day. So, yeah, well, thank you for listening if you had. I will see you in the next one. We'll see what the next topic is. Bye.